This is Alexis de Tocqueville in Democracy in America. Ready for this? Listen to how profound this is. Our contemporaries are constantly excited by two conflicting passions. They want to be led, meaning your fellow citizens. They want to be led, yet they wish to remain free, as they cannot destroy either the one or the other of these contrary propensities. They strive to satisfy them both at once. They devise a sole, tutelary, and all-powerful form of government, but elected by the people. They combine the principle of centralization and that of popular sovereignty. This gives them a respite. They console themselves for being in tutelage by the reflection that they have put in leading strings, because he sees that it is not a person or a class of persons, but the people at large who hold the end of his chain. In other words, they don't mind being slaves because they're electing their slaveholders. They don't mind being in chains because they go through the motions of voting for the people who are putting them in chains. By this system, he writes, the people shake off their state of dependence just long enough to select their master and then relapse into it again. Isn't that amazing? And so I add this. Thus mollified, many in the ruling generation are by and large inattentive and heedless about the bleak prospects inflicted on younger people, their children, who will neither benefit from the government's untenable programs in which they are and will be forced to make so-called contributions, nor possess the wherewithal to pay the trillions, tens of trillions of dollars in outstanding accumulated debt. Now, one of the problems we have, there's no comparable corporate structure comparable to big, centralized government. There's no comparable corporate structure shoring up the civil society and counterbalancing the federal government's impositions. The federal government makes, executes, and adjudicates the laws. It even determines the extent to which it will comply with the Constitution, which was established in the first place to prevent governmental arrogation. On the other hand, the civil society does not possess mechanical governing features that at the ready can be triggered and deployed in its own defense. And here's the point. Ultimately, a vigorous civil society, your family, your private lives, what you do in your private lives, a free economy, your faith, your churches, so forth and so on. A vigorous civil society and a well-functioning republic are only possible if the people are virtuous and the people will them. You're not going to get it from a political party. You're not going to get it from any politician. The people have to want to be free. The people have to want to protect their family and their children. The people have to want to pass on to the next generation the magnificence that was passed on to them in their generation. We, the people, have to want these things. What parents in the ruling generation owe their children, what we owe our children in generations afar, are the rebirth of a vibrant civil society and restoration of a vigorous constitutional republic, along with the essential and simultaneous limits on the federal government's sweeping and expanded scope of power. We need to contain it. And if we fail this admittedly difficult task, a central task, which grows ever more difficult and urgent with the passage of time, then the very essence of the American experiment will not survive. As such, it can and will be rightly said that we, in the ruling generation, betrayed our posterity. But what will be said of the younger generation? Young adults who refuse to stir in response to this tyranny of centralized, concentrated power. Or the response is tepid or contributory or even celebratory. Don't they want to live free? Don't they want to be prosperous? Don't they have a responsibility to preserve their own well-being? Yes, to all those things, as the government continues to plunder and the politicians continue to deceive.